Hello, and welcome back to Kaiserreich. We're facing a little bit of trouble on the Eastern Front. We should be able to handle it. It shouldn't be lethal. But meanwhile, things are getting a bit messy on the fronts we're not fighting on. We're holding fast in Belgium. But the Swiss have entered the war, and I don't trust that they can hold on. We're being bombed to smithereens. That's currently the biggest problem we're facing. So we're going to transfer more to bomber to fighter command so we can shoot down some of these bombers. Okay, maybe things aren't going as well as they should be. Alright, the SRI has joined the Internationale. The Two Sicilies has joined the Entente. We kind of got beaten to that punch. That's interesting. That means, okay. That means officially, okay, the fall of Petrograd. What the heck? Okay. The Great Russian City, built by Peter the Great, was captured today. Russian defenders initially held back a Baltic army across the Neva River. But a few days ago, those positions fell, and the sustained cannon fire on Vasilevsky Island has put the last defenders out of their misery. Some military technicians say that with proper defense, the city could have held out for years, but the Baltic momentum carried through their city faster than that. The Baltic soldiers' army is using the palace square as a staging ground for moving through the rest of the city, and the rumors of Baltic soldiers taking a tour of the Museum of Artillery comment they put their mark on the history of the Russian state. The glorious jewel of the North has fallen. Okay. The Italians are officially in the war. Okay. Huh. Cuba has to buy aircraft. Lacking its own aircraft, Cuba has requested to purchase a small share of our nation's military production for the month in order to produce a handful of fighter aircraft. While such deals are not impressed in, perhaps it's not worth harming our own production for Cuba's sake. I think we'll accept it nonetheless. That's a relatively small portion of our fighters. And we can really use the political power, to be honest. Okay. We are cleaning up the enemy fairly well. Low-key battlefield support. I think we are using close air support, so yeah, let's do battlefield support. Okay. Actually, what I should have done before doing that is check. Long-range tactical bombers. Okay, whatever. We want to do the things that buff the Reformenstein, or whatever it's called. We can get Panzer divisions. After we combat defeatism. Ooh, restore the... whatever this is. Ah, okay. Siege law. Preventing turnip winners. Dissolve socialist organizations. Not going to happen. We're a socialist organization. True leftist infighting. I was talking about that a little bit last time, but... or a little bit in an earlier episode, but this is like... okay! This is the big one. Cooperation with the Entente! Many of our military experts believe a war against the Third International will be a difficult one without some additional force. Applying pressure to the syndicalists, fortunately experts in the Dominion of Canada appear to agree. They've suggested we meet with the leaders from the Entente and Now that they're also at war with the Commune of France, which they've managed to stumble their way into. Good job. You're a little busy, but sure. I think this is going to end very badly for the Entente, but whatever. Also, there were discussed possibility they may work together. An alliance is out of the question, of course. What is the question how much their cooperation is worth, considering they must fight the Syndicalists anyhow? Let us meet. Let's talk. We'll help them however we can. I don't intend to give up very much. Costa Rica's joined the Entente, so it goes. Really? Panama kept the canal. That's something. Hold a summit for peace. Let's be peaceful. Yeah, well, so much for that. Alright, we need to increase train production. Actually, we should make armored trains. We can afford to make more of them. What are we doing on, Actually, our bombing pain, I think, has decreased somewhat. Yeah. Dominion of India has capitulated! Technically dark times, but not necessarily the end of the world. Oh, Afghanistan has entered the war. Okay. Sure. I could be more aggressive on the Eastern Front, but I really don't want to be. No, that's a victory. I don't know why that's listed as a defeat. Okay. Yeah, our naval strike force has been extremely successful. So, you know, I don't know what to say about that. Japan is justifying against us. I thought the Greeks were justifying. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Interesting. What are the Japanese doing? They are at war with all of China, so they're maybe a little bit busy. Alright, collaborating. Yep. Yeah, they're doing local recruitment, which is, I think, objectively very logical. Once we do this, we're going to immediately try to get an alliance with the Princely Federation, which would help swing things in our favor. And we're not doing a lot of war, but, like, again, I want that bad build-up debuff to go away before we start attacking people. No. Absolutely not. They're, military situation isn't great, is it? Nope. Huh. Ethiopia and Somalia haven't fought a war. That's not standard. There we go. Greece has declared war on Bulgaria. Okay, Bulgaria. Have fun. Yeah, this is the problem, is that... Alright. Middle Europa vote impending. Infrastructure projects. Building slots. I think we want, yeah. Industrial advisors. That 5% is worth a lot more than like one factory is. Halifax Conference! Leaders from the Entente and Reichspakt gathered in Halifax today to discuss the possibility of cooperation in war against the Third International. What this cooperation would consist of is not difficult to ascertain. Military and naval access between all members, but, more importantly for the Entente, the willingness on the part of the Reichspakt to stay out of France and Great Britain once the war is done. This will allow for a swift return to Europe for both French and British exile governments, the ultimate goal of both. But now a single question hangs over the conference. Would the German Empire even agree to such terms? And if so, what would they ask in return? That's an excellent question. Yeah. I don't see a huge reason to cooperate with these guys. I don't think they're particularly impressive. Like, the fact that they've been unable to close out this war is not great. Besides, I kind of want to start stuff with them after the Weltkrieg, you know, assuming I survive. And so it goes. What the heck? Transamore is... okay. The Eastern Seas War over the last century. Asia has become a continent largely dominated by Western powers, though those exact powers have changed. From London and Paris to Berlin, the fact has remained unchanged as to the ire of Tokyo. Now, though, the status quo threatens to shatter as the Empire of Japan and the German Empire go to war. Despite hopes for peace, many have seen this turn of events as inevitable. Japanese plans for Asia centered around itself were always incompatible with German domination of the region. With the West engulfed in crisis, Tokyo's leaders doubted whether another chance to realize his ambitions may appear. Whichever side fortune may favor, one thing is for certain: Asia's future hangs in the balance. Singapore will never fall. I don't know if that's true, but you know. I don't know where the confidence is coming from. Weirdly, Transamore. Yeah. Russia is dealing with a lot of nonsense, isn't it? Okay. Our demands! Staying out of both France and Great Britain in the peace conference following our future victory would mean the German Empire walking away from a long, costly war with little to show for it, and possibly two restored neighbors who we have vanquished previously, who have no reason to be fond of us. We cannot rely on their gratitude. So do we even consider the idea? What do we ask for in return? Publicly renounce their claim to Alsace-Lorraine. France must join Middle Europa. Recognize former colonies in Asia and Africa as ours. Renounce claim to Northern Ireland. Let's start with Alsace-Lorraine. If the French don't agree to this, then this whole thing is a no-go. Okay. King Ruprecht receives army command. Following... I need to select a national focus. Association of the Indian Ocean. Yeah. I know it's not necessarily the most optimal thing, but I really want to get the those folks on side. What's their name? India? Durr. We're doing okay in terms of war support, actually, which is nice. Okay, King Ruprecht receives army command following announcement that King Crown Prince Wilhelm will return to the front for Second Weltkrieg. King Ruprecht of Bavaria has been recommissioned as a commander in the Imperial German Army as well. The commander of Heeresgruppe Ruprecht von Bayern during the Weltkrieg. He proved himself an able commander in spite of having received his position through mobility, and was considered by his peers to be perhaps the only German royal deserving of military command during the entire war. As he is reigning king and is nearly 70, Ruprecht may not lead with the same capacity he used to, but he's welcomed by the OHL nonetheless. He would lead Bavarian troops to glory. Okay, Ruprecht. This is the small planes versus medium planes. other options? So, yeah, they were using these for the attack bombers and the air support naval bombers. I think we probably want to go small production. Actually, let me see what the options are for air support. Probably want to go Junkers at some point with them. But our options for medium. Yeah, alright, we actually have a lot of options. Yeah, we have a lot of options. Okay. So we're going to go small. I mean, we are currently very static. We'll get to maneuver warfare when we get to maneuver warfare, you know what I mean? Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to go with maneuver warfare. And I go with infantry expert. That seems like a good use of our time. Also, we need to go boat mode, like, so badly. I should have done these. Whoopsie. Better positioning, better night fighting. I mean, we're going to be fighting half at night anyways, so might as well night fighting. And, better chance for attack. Seems good. Oh. How damaged are these guys? They're actually doing fine. Eric Reda. Alright, Reda. Probably should give this bonus. Okay, we can't afford to give the bonus to anyone. Non-aggression pacts? Sure. Who knows what they're focusing on? Probably the... Nice! The French Republic renounces Alsace-Lorraine. Shockingly, the French delegates have agreed, after much discussion with the Germans, to publicly renounce their claim to Alsace-Lorraine if the Germans agree to the Halifax Conference's Treaty of Cooperation. Considering how much the humiliation involved for the French to do so, it speaks how much they believe the treaty will help to return to the continent. A sweet admission on their part. Do we demand more? Yes, we do. We can now press more buttons. I love pressing buttons. Can't quite get to more buttons yet. More buttons. Ah, we get better fighter plane. We want those high agility fighter designs. The Volkwolf. Oh, do we demand more? We've made it this far in the negotiations. Do we demand more concessions for the Entente, or have we reached a successful conclusion of the treaty? Must renounce their claim to Northern Ireland. Must recognize their former colonies as ours. Must join Middle Europa. I think I'm going to go for a full sweep, but let's start with the obvious one. Renounce your claim to Northern Ireland. Ireland is our ally. You'd better renounce that, buddy. The bombing speed has slowed down. The British renounced Northern Ireland! Today has caused much uproar at the Halifax Conference. The German delegates, acting on behalf of their Irish allies, have demanded the British renounce all claims to Northern Ireland. Even though it would annul the Acts of Union which create the United Kingdom, the British delegates have agreed to do so. They do not wish war with the Irish. Of all people, while they have said that the matter should end, in the end, rest with the citizens of Northern Ireland themselves, they will not personally press British claims. I cannot believe they agreed to that. I mean, I can. Like, it is silly, the idea that, like, we'll retake it. Yeah, will you? Like, by the time, it doesn't matter. How's our war support looking? Where's it going? What's the real issue? It's combat casualties still. We're gonna exhort heroism, which should help reverse the problem with combat casualties. That would be great. Now, here's our 2 push options. Do we demand more? I'm kind of inclined to just go for all of it. I mean, I guess recognize their former colonies as ours. Like, sure. I really don't know about joining Middle Europa. Yeah. They must recognize their former colonies in Africa and Asia as ours. Yeah. Oh my! German colony is recognized. The French and we can non-aggression pact. Yes, non-aggression pact. Yes, non-aggression pact. Yes. No. Call to arms. The French and British colonies gained by the Germans since the First World War have been a sticking point. Some annexed, others occupied temporarily due to the lack of what the Germans claim as competent government to administer them. Now the Germans have demanded the colonies in Africa and Southeast Asia be officially recognized as theirs, forestalling future efforts for them to be restored, and the Entente has agreed. It's a symbolic gesture, perhaps, but one that could prevent a great deal of conflict in the future. Good. And this is a good source of political power. I think we're going to go for the quadfecta. After they return to France, first, the French must join Middle Europa. Sure, why not? Oh. Nice. They keep sinking their fleets. That's good. We are, slowly... doing that. We should, build some radar, I guess? What does this do? Detection of fleets at sea. That might be nice to put, like, here, I guess. How expensive are these? Anti-air is, like, cheap. I mean, it's not anything. Now we're good. This one's jazzy. I like this. Snooty Fox! Yeah, sir, we're Snooty Fox. Hey! The French Republic, we got it, boys! The French Republic agrees to join Middle Europa! German delegations demand the French Republic agree to join Middle Europa. The German Economic Union, after Paris has been regained. Most present at the conference believe the Germans intend to have some form of economic control over the French as they rebuild their country, but possibly their offer is benign. Whatever the motivation, the French delegation has agreed. When the time comes, they'll join Middle Europa as requested. We'll believe it when we see it. I mean, okay. I think we're gonna try to get some more boys in charge of this. That would require more command power. Who do we want? Probably Combined Arms Genius. Seems good. I think we're gonna do no more. Let's proceed to the treaty. We lost Petrograd. Whatever. I don't care. Yeah, they've overridden the wall. They've overrun the wall here. Nice. Reichspakt and Internat will cooperate. After meeting in a conference in the Canadian city of Halifax, representatives from the Entente and the Reichspakt have worked out a deal to cooperate in their war against the Third International. The main terms of their deal involve both sides having military and naval access to the other, but more importantly, the German Empire has agreed that once the syndicalists have been beaten, they will take no territory in France or Great Britain, and thus allow both the French and the British exiled governments a swift return to Europe. Sources at the Halifax conference say the Germans have elicited a host of promises from the Entente leaders, though it remains to be seen whether, once the war is done, should they prove victorious, either side intends to keep them. This will make things easier. That's not good for them, for the enemy, but it's good for us. Conceivably, we could... The problem is we haven't lost that much to bombing. So I think it's better for us to wait. More conscription is probably good, but we can get that from pressing Butens, which is cheaper. This is cheaper. How's our modifier, by the way? Probably not very bad, is it? Still not great. Still not great. Are the Greeks literally in an alliance with anyone? No. They probably should join the Moscow Accord, but remember, the Moscow Accord went, like, aggresso mode, which means not so much. Okay, Russian state declared war on Ireland. Communist France declares war on the Baltic state. Non-aggression pact from Hunan, let's go. Nope, nope. We're going to have minimum participation in war as long as we can cut it. We are going to get combined arms genius. We get artillery genius. It's probably better for us to get an artillery genius. Ooh. I think we hired Frisch somewhere else. Would have been nice to have him. But combined arms genius is a combined arms genius. Yeah. We are intending to use... Heh! Growing preparedness! The initial glut of the German army. Imperial German army in the industrial base appears to be receding. The fighting prowess of our soldiers is getting back into shape. Thanks to the growing flows of new materials from the factories and wave of propaganda, soon the Empire will return back to fighting shape, and when that happens, all our enemies will tremble with this pace, we'll reach Paris in no time, and let our people labor without the fanfare. We will reach Paris. It's just a fancy, flavorful way of saying, turn off these alerts, please. Do I wanna... No, not really. I don't really care about diverting agricultural goods. Yeah, Poland will get autonomy at the end of the war. That's the plan. Venezuela has declared war on someone. Oh. West Indies Federation. Sure, man, whatever. Freaking gummies. I guess these guys are they're social liberals. they're not Reds. They're just liberals. They're just revanchist liberals. Costa Rica's capitulated. Womp womp. Our beefy infantry divisions really seem to have their stuff together. It might be wise once we... How are we on infantry equipment? 58 days. Association of the Indian Ocean. We're gonna try Delhi-Berlin Pact. Huh? Owned and controlled by German Empire? What? I mean, we're at war with the Kingdom of Siam. Yay! The tooltip was a lie. Princely Federation accepts the alliance. The Princely Federations accept our alliance offer and will join forces with our own in the worldwide conflict. The administration of German India is being transferred back to the homeland as we speak, and the islands are being transferred to German rule. Oh, right. We control these. Oh, okay, that makes sense. That we're going to lose a lot of rubber, which sucks. But, you know, we'll survive. Great! Yeah. Immediately, we are maybe going to have to... yeah, we're going to have to now do this. Princely Federation, it was worth it. I think it was worth it. Because now the Princely Federation can join the war, and also we can press a silly button. Beep. Silly button. I love pressing silly buttons. Alright. Let's go to, Nota Beer. What is this? Nota Bitter system. Nota Peter system. Sounds good. But we're also going to go to the end of episode system. I will see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.